Hey everybody, thank you for downloading this episode of We Got This with Mark and Hal. Happy November. I hope you're enjoying the month. I hope you're getting ready for Thanksgiving. I hope you're getting ready for us to give thanks to you for the thing you're going to do for us, which is go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star rating and a review. So the more reviews we get, the closer we get to wearable merch so you can sport your people of the world pride wherever you go. But for now, please enjoy this episode of We Got This with Mark and Hal.
We're getting merch?
I mean, I hope so.
Cool.
Hello, I'm Hal Lublin.
And I'm Mark Gagliardi.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. With the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle once and for all.
Oh, best Hogwarts subject?
That's right. Don't worry, everyone. We got this.
Podcast should have a theme song. Podcast should not have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. Yeah, but people are just going to skip past it. You know what? You're right. We got this.
Oh, Mark.
Oh, man, you're going to do this the whole episode, aren't you?
Oh, yes, we're going to Hogwarts, aren't we?
Please tell the people of the world, what wonderful thing you're doing an impression of right now.
Folks, when I drove across the country from Philadelphia to Los Angeles in the year 2000, at late August 2000, what I had to keep me company were the cassette audiobooks of the first, I think, 3 at the time. There were only 3 that were out, Harry Potter novels, as narrated by Jim Dale.
Jim Dale.
Wonderful actor.
Oh, man. Can I tell you my favorite thing Jim Dale has ever done and the thing I grew up watching him do and loving?
Sure.
The mustache twirling villain in Pete's Dragon.
Absolutely.
Oh, he is hilarious in that movie.
Yes. Yes.
But he kind of is that guy.
He has that, he does have that theatricality to him. I mean, he there's no doubt to that. And it carries over brilliantly into the Harry Potter audiobooks. I mean, look, there's a little bit of Dr. Terminus in everything he does. That's what I like to think.
You know, I like that. I like to think that there's a little bit of Dr. Terminus in everything everybody does, Hal.
I like to think that the real Dr. Terminus is the friends we made along the way.
No man is a failure, George, who has a Dr. Terminus. Thanks for the wings.
Oh, George, I've got wings. Oh, did you hear the bell, George?
Hey, look, Jim Dale. It's that angel, Jim Dale. Look at this. I'm giving out wings. Da-ding.
Oh, don't jump over the bridge. Oh, be careful. Oh, let me show you what would happen if you've never been born.
Well, ain't you got somewhere to go, mister? I'll worry about you.
No, I just sit here narrating everything as a variety of different characters like me, Hermione, and me, Ron, and me, Harry.
Now, I remember this being your big beef with Jim Dale's version of this is that, while there are a plethora of magical creatures, all of the main kids all sound the same, and they all just sound like Jim Dale doing that. Ooh!
It's a lot to ask a man in his 60s to be like, can you do 3 distinct children's voices? You know, like, not everybody is like a Don Messick or, Dawes Butler or another like venerable famous voice actor.
Who was the first
pull
one?
All these different kids' voices. Don Messick.
Who's Don Messick?
I mean, who isn't he? IMDb him. He has too long a list of credits.
Oh, I gotta look him up. Yeah, it's good I gotta know who the legends are. You know, you have more of the baseball card collection than I do.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. He was the original Scooby-Doo, just to give you.
Oh. All right.
A little.
Sure.
A little something?
You know, if Hermione sounded like Scooby-Doo. Wingardium Leviosa.
But he's also Bam Bam and Astro.
Oh, right on.
So he does kids use Boo Boo and Ranger.
Wait, isn't Astro
Smith.
the dog?
Yeah. But he was also Bam Bam was a kid.
Okay, Bam Bam was a kid. I know who Bam Bam
was a kid.
was.
A lot of animals. He did do a lot of animals. He was Sebastian the Cat. He was Azrael in the Smurfs.
Ooh.
He was Hampton J. Pig in Tiny Toon Adventures. He was Benton Quest. I mean, you know, one of the true legends of voiceover.
Hal,
that's not who Jim Dale is.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you do not have a screen of any sort in front of you. You just pulled all of those names of all those characters out.
Just like Dr. Terminus, it came from my mind, I swear.
Wait a minute. But Dr. Terminus was a snake oil salesman. Can you get me snake oil?
Oh, yes, you want snake oil? Oh, it's me, snake oil. It's me, the Grogans. Oh, we're going to build a sale right here. Okay.
Let's talk about the subjects at Hogwarts. For those of you who don't know what Hogwarts is, please listen to a different episode of our show. We have lots of them about toilet paper for some reason.
Or maybe read a book.
Yeah. Or watch a movie. Yeah.
Or play a Lego game.
Hey guys, you don't have to read the books. They made movies of them. They're great.
Now November is
Kate
Harry
McManus
Potter month.
is hitting her head on a table right now for me.
She is.
That.
And with good reason, because Kate, in addition to being our researcher extraordinaire, is a bona fide Harry Potter scholar.
Like a legit Harry Potter scholar.
Legit.
So if we get anything wrong, I'm so nervous about this for that very reason.
She has a published Harry Potter scholarship.
Yeah. I'm so terrified if we get, you know what? We're not going to get this wrong. We've never gotten one wrong once.
We never have, and we're not going to start now.
That's
but
right.
She went ahead. I think part of the reason why we're doing Harry Potter all this month, outside of the fact that we both love Harry Potter, I've read more of the books than you have, admittedly. We've both seen the same number of the films.
Right. I have seen the films maybe 500 times each.
Yes.
Because after I tired of watching them, or having to stop every time they were on ABC Family, the marathon would start be like, well, there's my weekend. And I would just watch Harry Potter movies. I eventually just bought them all and then wore them out.
Yeah, because commercial breaks are no way to watch a film like that.
Yeah, no. You don't want a Tide commercial right in the middle of Severus Snape digging into Harry Potter's mind.
Exactly. But the part of the reason why the other reason why we're doing it this month is,
though it would be really cool if there were Jeep commercials in that one movie that they made where it was nothing but camping. Okay, sorry, continue.
Are you referring to the Deathly Hallows Part 1?
Deathly Hallows Part 1 is just the camping movie.
I disagree. I enjoy Deathly Hallows 1 a lot, but we've discussed this before. It's not what we're talking about here. What I'm saying is the other reason why November is Harry Potter month is because Kate went and did a ton of Harry Potter research, knowing that we would one day record these, and now this is the day.
The day has finally arrived. This is the first of the 4 Harry Potter episodes that we are going to put out this month. And today we are talking about Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. You get there on the first day, you get your syllabus, you look at it, and you think, I don't know what any of these classes are, but I bet by the end of the year, one of these is going to be my favorite. And over the end of my entire time at Hogwarts, I'm going to look back and go, yeah, that was the best class. What class are we talking about?
Well, just so you know.
Yeah.
When you have to take your OWLs or owls.
Yeah, you take your owl
through
exam.
5th, 6th, and 7th, which is the ordinary wizarding level.
Right.
But you have the first 2 years that are foundational.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of the courses being calibrated to, all these courses, by the way, are calibrated to both Muggle and Magic-born students. So there's no advantage there. There's no class here that, for all intents and purposes, is exclusive to one or the other. So the Muggle-born really would be the Muggle-born who would get the short end of the stick. But everybody should be able to comprehend these. First 2 years are foundational. Then once the basics are mastered, the classes begin to inform each other, and further magical courses that are electives build on these foundation courses. Of course, that came from Kate McManus, Harry Potter scholar.
That's right. But these classes you take the whole time. It's just that to advance, I'm confused.
Here's what I think we should do.
Okay.
We've got a lot of different courses. I'm just going to run through the list.
Okay.
And I think we should just pick from among all of them, because we're picking what we think the best subject is, and we can dig into them as we go, because we have the research here, okay?
Yes. I do like the idea of breaking them up a little bit, just because it's fun to take them in littler chunks so that my brain can handle it. Because look, a full class load, I haven't been to school in a long time, Hal. Don't give me a full class load all at once. Let's start. Just tell me what my required courses are. If I'm going to show up at Hogwarts on my first day, what are the courses that I'm required?
Transfiguration.
Okay.
Charms.
Okay.
Defense against the dark arts.
Okay.
Potions.
Mm-hmm.
Astronomy.
Sure.
History of magic.
Good.
And herbology.
All right. Those are my classes.
Yes, those are your core classes. There are electives, but those are the ones that everybody is going to take.
Okay. So, let's just start digging in here. First of all, astronomy, we have those in regular school. We have those classes. I could take an astronomy course at, Glendale Community College if I wanted.
True.
But this is a different magical kind of astronomy. Are they teaching just regular astronomy?
No, they teach you astronomy, but here's the foundational work of astronomy in the world of Harry Potter.
Okay.
So there is a Muggle equivalent. And these are Kate's notes. I want to read her remarks, and then we'll dig in. She says, "This is one of the few courses with a Muggle equivalent. However, I suspect we know a great deal more about the stars than they do, as the Wixen world has little to do with Muggle science." So what they do is they're looking at the same thing. Mm-hmm. They're identifying celestial bodies and charting their movements, but it's actually essential for other work. So knowing that information is important to potions, defense against the dark arts, and divination. So this is if you're going to take accounting at some point, you have to have basic math.
I mean, by that rationale though, shouldn't this school also offer like basic math? Like if they're going to go to the back and grab a book, shouldn't they also have like a reading class for the early levels?
You would think, you mean like the core class?
Yeah. Like you still have to do, I mean, look, Harry Potter, these kids aren't going to any other school besides Hogwarts.
Right.
From a very young age. So I feel like they might be missing out on some actual important things. Like, can they function at all in society if they've never had arithmetic?
Well, they have their own society. They don't have to do the banking because they have a bunch of goblins doing it.
I guess that's true. If there's a magic excuse for everything, it's like iPhones have ruined cursive.
I mean, there's no handwriting classes. These are kids.
Yeah.
I mean, there
is handwriting classes, but it's writing on the back of your hand.
You start at what, the age of 9? Is that right?
Something like that.
You're like 9 or 10 years old. So by then you've had some foundational math. You've taken some basic math, and now it's like, all right, you've got the basics. Now instead of algebra and calculus, which you're not going to need because you're not going to be an engineer, you're learning magic. So you're taking that and you're applying it to magic. If does that complete the circle?
Yeah,
for you?
I realized that they go a little bit older. They start a little bit older, so they have had some foundational time. It's like when a prodigy goes off to like a music school and just starts from a very young age doing that, or a gymnast or something.
Let me ask you something before we dig more into these core courses.
Yeah.
Do you think, just gut reaction, do you think the winner is somewhere in here?
Yes.
Then let's talk about the electives first, because we know that there's probably not a winner in there.
Okay.
And we also know astronomy's not going to win, so we can strike that.
I don't know, man. Astronomy's pretty strong. If they have some sort of special magical telescope, there's a lot out there in the stars that we can't see even with a Hubble.
Oh, stop it.
I'm just saying. All right, let's talk about some of the electives. Here we have, I'll just read off a few of them. Arithmancy. Mm-hmm. I have no idea how you pronounce that.
I think it's arithmancy.
Arithmancy.
I think that's fair.
That is, numerology and magical properties of numbers. Muggle studies. So I guess that is, the daily study of the daily lives of Muggles, and everything they have to do using their own technology. Basically, it's like a study of, it would be like taking primitive peoples, I guess.
Well, and you don't want to be the teacher for this class because the instructor, Charity Burbage, is murdered by Voldemort personally. Because when he takes over the school, he installs his own teacher and then changes the syllabus to all be anti-Muggle.
There you go.
So it's surprisingly, I mean, the defense against the dark arts seems to be the most dangerous position in the books and films. Mm-hmm. but Muggle studies is low key pretty dangerous.
Sure. It's like being a CIA analyst overseas in a hostile environment.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not the one out there rolling over cars with a gun out, but something could happen.
Yes.
All right. We have divination. That is the study of the future, which is, look, as electives go, if I had divination in my high school, oh man, that would be awesome. We have study of ancient runes, which, I'm sure there's a university somewhere, in the Muggle world of actuality that also has that class.
Can we talk? I want to note some of the research that was done here. There are required texts for each one. So for divination, which was taught by Sybil Trelawney, is probably the most well-known, teacher. Unfogging the Future by Cassandra Vablatsky, and The Dream Oracle by Inigo Imago. And for study of ancient runes, the teacher was Bathsheba Babbling.
Bathsheba Babbling.
Bethesda, Maryland. And the required text is Ancient Ruins Made Easy. Author unknown. Sorry.
I'm assuming that's a typo. Though that would also be hilarious if the text was Ancient Ruins Made Easy.
We don't know. I trust the research. I'm going to say ruins. Kate, you take the heat on this one.
Kate, you're awesome. And then of course, you also have Care of Magical Creatures, which was, instructed by formerly Kettleburn. Rubius Hagrid, of course, taught Care of Magical Creatures. And, I don't know who Wilhelmina Grubblyplank is, but she has, incredibly British Hogwartsy name.
Yes.
And then you have additional courses, Apparition, which is, an elective course. I don't know what Apparition is. Do you?
The ability to apparate is the ability to teleport to different places.
Oh, great. This was an elective. So this is, Kate, you are wonderful. You have given us so much detailed information. I'm like, who is Wilkie Twycross? These are people I've never heard of in this world. Flying, of course, compulsory first year with, Madam Hooch. There's some real fun in this category.
If you were to pick one.
Yeah.
I feel like I would pick the same one. Should we do a 1, 2, 3?
Sure.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Care of Magical Creatures.
Oh.
What?
Divination, the future. No, I think you're right. I realized as we were counting, I realized I was like, I think he's going to say Care of Magical Creatures, because that's the class where you get to fly dragons or ride on the back of, Buckbeak.
Yeah. And there are, unicorns and thestrals. You learn about flobberworms and fire crabs. All the fun.
I learned about fire. I didn't get, learn about fire crabs till college.
You're gross.
Hey-oh. Come on.
You're so gross. Did you also learn about Hogwarts in college?
Oh, jeez. That's terrible. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's magical creatures. That's what's going to come out of the electives for me. Though flying, would be cool, but flying there is, just kind of like PE.
That's true. And I like a pre-Voldemort Muggle studies too, just because for me it'd be interesting to see how an outsider would teach other outsiders about my society. Because it's calibrated for students who are, this one is probably, if you're Muggle born, you're not going to take this as an elective because you have more exposure to the Muggle world than someone who's been completely, just in the wizarding world side of things.
Or if you're the guy who, speaks Spanish at home, and wants an easy elective in school, so you just take Spanish in school.
Oh, that's true. There's got to be a lazy Muggle-born student or two who's like, Muggle studies, I bet I'll be good at that. And then they realize that their family has no class. And they're completely lost. Which is just like the person who speaks Spanish at home. They're like, oh, we must speak a regional dialect.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of only, knowing Spanish at home, but only knowing the swear words. Which was kind of what I was for Italian growing up.
Did you take Italian in high school?
No, I did not. I took Spanish in high school, but my grandmother would only use the Italian swear words around me. I don't think it was that she would only use Italian, like whenever she spoke Italian, it was swear words. I think it was whenever she swore she spoke Italian.
Right.
Yeah.
Other than that, she was speaking English?
Other than that, she was speaking English, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
All right. So Care of Magical Creatures is the elective that is going to make the leap from junior varsity to varsity at Hogwarts.
Yes.
Going up with, the regular courses, Transfiguration, Charms, Defense Against the Dark Arts, Potions, and History of Magic, and Herbology.
Do you want to take a break before we get into the required courses? Since that's where the winner's going to come from, we'll slug those out, and then we'll see if by some miracle, Care of Magical Creatures is able to defeat whatever comes out. And I feel like I know what the required course is going to be too, but I don't want to say. I want to give them all a chance because my mind can be changed. My mind is not made up. I just have a hunch.
Hey, if your mind can be, you know what? If your mind can be changed, the way I feel about that is let's play some ads for other Maximum Fun shows and then immediately go listen to them as they change our minds.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Boom.
I'm Riley Smurl.
I'm Sydney McElroy.
And I'm Taylor Smurl.
And together, we host a podcast called Still Buffering, where we answer questions like,
Why should I not fall asleep first at a slumber party?
how do I be fleet? Is it okay to break up with someone using emojis?
And sometimes we talk about bugs. No, we don't. Nope.
Find out the answers to these important questions and many more on Still Buffering, a sister's guide to teens through the ages.
I am a teenager.
And I was too.
Butts. No.
But you change your mind far too many times over and over again, over and over again.
Welcome everyone to the live wrestling spectacular in Los Angeles.
So far, the world's most boring wrestling podcast has been destroying the competition.
Isn't there anyone who can save us from this travesty? Wait, could it be?
It's Titan Fights, the perfect wrestling podcast.
Titan Fights is here to save us from the monotony of boring wrestling podcasts with hilarious conversations.
Woke trips through the history of wrestling.
And joke about the finer points of people wearing spandex. What a match!
And the Titan Fights podcast will be back every week.
Thursdays on MaximumFun.org or wherever you get podcasts. Please, these hosts have families.
Tyson Fights Podcast. Tyson Fights.
All right.
Okay.
Let's dig into the required courses.
All right. These are your math, science, English, social studies of Hogwarts. The ones you got to take every year. 101 up through 701. I don't know if they use the 01 system. That would be Transfiguration, Charms, Defense Against the Dark Arts, Potions, History of Magic, and Herbology.
Yes, we already discussed and eliminated astronomy.
Yes. I'd like to talk about, because I am a big history fan.
Okay.
I would like to talk about History of Magic, because I know that History of Magic is going to get eliminated very early on. But I think that it is one of those things. When I was in college, I went to an acting school, but one of the courses that was required second year was History of Dramatic Literature. And, it was like, oh, I got to go to HDL class. It was like a classroom class. But it gave me such a great appreciation for plays. I feel like this class would give me a great appreciation for magic. I know I sound like the kid in the school, a little bit like Ron when he's got the cards and he's like, oh, you've got this wizard and I've got this wizard. Oh, I can tell you stories about this wizard. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think it's important. You know, this is a foundational class for a reason.
Yeah.
You need to have context for everything that you're doing. Now, it's not a practical class, so you don't really do any magic.
Right.
You're just researching in theory, and it's literally taught by a dead white guy. Professor Cuthbert Binns is the professor, and your required text is A History of Magic by Bathilda Bagshot.
Bathilda Bagshot. What do I know her name from? She has appeared in other things. She wasn't, oh no, did she write the book about Dumbledore?
Possibly.
Oh man, Kate is kicking herself and her phone right now.
You know what's great is if you're really quiet, you can hear her screaming. All the way from Minnesota. You can hear the screams in the night. But this is the history of the Wixen world, as you said, including conflict with other magical beings, and is a foundational class important in the context of all other courses taught at Hogwarts. So again, to get a good idea of where we're going and where we are, it's good to know where we've been. This is very similar to when we did best school subject, in that It's important to say none of these subjects are unimportant.
Right. Yeah, well, in this world, that's why these are the foundational classes you have to take. None of these are unimportant. That said, we can eliminate the sitting behind a desk class from the best Hogwarts class, right?
Yeah, I want to do magic.
No, I want to do magic too. Let's go do magic. Should we make a pit stop at herbology?
Yeah, that was the one I was looking at next, taught by Pomona Sprout.
Yeah, because on this spreadsheet, that was the next one listed.
The required text, 1,000 Magical Herbs and Fungi by Phillida Spore.
Did you pronounce it herbs because Hogwarts is in England?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. So this is magical plants. This is most memorably in my mind from the movie is when they are pulling the roots out that scream, so they all have to wear earmuffs.
The mandrakes.
Yes.
Yes.
That shriek. And also, little snippets of plants here and there. I think, don't we catch one of the professors snipping something of a plant. So plants, of course, this is the thing that Neville Longbottom is so great at, herbology.
Yes. And look, if you want to be good at potions, you better be good at herbology. It is an essential, not only understanding how to identify and care for and cultivate magical plants, but knowing what their properties are is going to serve you well in potion making. This is where it becomes very difficult. They're all reliant on one another.
Right.
So you cannot really have an effective career as a potion maker or have strong abilities as a potion maker without a deep understanding of herbology and how it works. Do you agree?
Right. I do agree, but it kind of feels like that means that potion making is standing on stage playing rock and roll guitar and herbology is learning music theory. You know what I mean?
True.
So there's one, like, if potions is potions just flashier herbology with a few extra steps?
No. Potions are a practical application of herbology.
Okay. Herbology. Should I just start saying herbology? I keep saying herbology. All right. I'm going to say herbology.
Herbology. Need it for potions.
Great. That's great, Jim. Can we hear Professor Sprout's voice?
Oh, sure. I'm teaching herbology. Harry.
Okay.
Yes, Professor.
I couldn't tell when Harry ended and you know what? Never mind. Let's just record the Hermione stuff.
Okay, great. Ooh, Harry, it's Hermione. I'm gonna pull this mandrake out. Ooh, I'm a mandrake. I'm screaming. Ooh.
That's perfect. Let's go to lunch.
Ooh, oh, sorry. I was in character. All right. I'm ready to go to lunch.
Yeah. Oh, no. I want to go to lunch with the Harry Potter characters.
Ooh, let's get lunch. I want to go to Witch and draw on the bag. Ooh.
You just want to go to Witch because it says witch in it.
Ooh, you got me. Ooh.
All right. Oh, man.
All right. Let's go to potions next.
All right.
Because potions, we've talked about astronomy. We've talked about herbology and the history of magic. Mm-hmm. So the next step would be potions.
Right. Potions taught by Professor Severus Snape.
Yes. Then later, Horace Slughorn.
Yes. Horace Slughorn, the one who's snipping little bits. I like that Horace Slughorn wears a mortarboard hat. Like he is always graduating from somewhere. Or like, I got this mortarboard for being a scholar, so I want everybody to know I am a scholar. I will wear it all the time. Snape, of course, famously I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say these may be the most British author names coming up, but go ahead and talk about Snape first, please.
Professor Snape, longtime potions instructor, though of course they say that he always wanted the dark arts class, but longtime potions instructor is, you find out late, of course, he is the Half-Blood Prince. It was his beat up old book that had all the specific details for potions written into it. These are just, by the way, I'm throwing these little things that I remember out for each of these different classes, hoping that people will go, oh, okay, now I know which class we're talking about, just in case you didn't know which class we were talking about.
Yes. And this is one of those classes that require, like some classes you just have to get the books. Other classes you need supplies. No. This is a supplies class. You have to have a cauldron, brass scales, and various ingredients. So you have to come with some ingredients.
This has got to be the, for parents of, the Weasley parents are like, oh man, what's the potions budget going to be this year?
Yeah, exactly. Like how many galleons and scruples are you expected to drop?
Yeah.
On these darn books.
Jeez,
but
right?
The required texts, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Are Magical Drafts and Potions by Arsenius Jigger.
Awesome.
And Advanced Potion Making by Libaceous Borage. No way Libaceous Borage didn't have a giant mustache. Libaceous Borage.
Libaceous Borage. That's this Libaceous Borage is the sound that you make when you're trying to say something British while eating. Libaceous Borage.
It also sounds like a breakfast.
Ooh.
Let me have a Libaceous Borage.
Yeah. My borage is cold. My borage is hot. My borage is just right.
So if you're going to take this course, again, you have to have a foundation in a bunch of other courses, including herbology, astronomy, because some ingredients require a lunar cycle to properly mature, and defense against the dark arts in fending off known poisons, for instance. So you have to know what you're doing. All of these classes work hand in hand and give you a strong, almost more so than schools that we attend, than our elementary school.
What do you mean? As far as them going hand in hand?
As far as them going hand in hand. You can take a history class. You don't necessarily need to know math. Math and science work together for sure. I think history and English to a certain extent work together. And they all, art also works with math a little, they all work with a little bit. These feel like you can't just walk into potions class having mastered herbology.
Right.
You also have to know, these other disciplines as well.
Yes. Well, also defense against the dark arts that feels like such a catch-all name for a class anyway. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah, I see how they're all going to be intertwined. It's a school because it's a school of something. You know what I mean? It's not just school. It's not just Hogwarts school. It's Hogwarts school of witchcraft and wizardry. So stuff's going to be pretty integrated. Again, conservatory setting. All your teachers know each other. All of your classes are pretty integrated. You're doing skills that you learn in one in the other. So I get that. I guess what I'm saying is Hogwarts is a lot like going to theater school.
Yes.
In that, Daniel Radcliffe has been to both.
And you have to wear movement clothes.
Yeah. And you have to wear movement clothes. Yeah. And the first years carry a yoga mat over their shoulder.
And have to take a science class that they'll never use.
Yeah,
in their
and still have to
life.
take one science class. I wonder, oh man, if they had one class at Hogwarts that everybody had to take, it was just one gen ed class. That's it. Just the one. That's all you got to take. Which one do you think that that Hogwarts would require?
Oh man, if they had to require one, probably a math class. I guess it'd be a math class. Just for mixing potions and understanding astronomy. Math feels pretty essential to all that.
Yeah. All right.
I was trying to come up with a funny answer and I couldn't. What, do you have one?
No, math seems like the correct answer. I don't have a funny answer. No, just have an answer. Wait, this show's supposed to be funny?
No.
Oh,
why start now?
Hey.
Hi-oh.
All right. No, I thought Dumbledore might require literature. Just English lit.
Yeah, maybe. He might. That's
or
true.
if there's a handful of them that you can take, they're like, you have to take one gen ed class. I don't even care what it is. You just have to take one.
Yeah.
Put that with the electives. Do we think of the three that we have talked about? Do we think that our winner is in those three, or do you think that our winner is going to come from Transfiguration, Charms, or Defense Against the Dark Arts?
I think the winner might be one of those three. Do you agree?
I agree that one of those three is going to be the winner, but I didn't want to give those three short shrift.
No. Again, all full deference and the importance of all these classes. Let's talk about the two classes that are sort of flip sides of the same coin.
What's that?
Which is Transfiguration and Charms.
Yes. Now, Transfiguration is the magic of changing the appearance and the form of one object or another,
Yes.
whereas Charms is it affects the inherent qualities of the object, like its behavior or its capabilities.
Yes.
So spells, we're doing another episode. We're talking about spells, are going to be a combination of transfigurations and charms, but they've split it up into two different classes, and it's Charms is taught by Phileas Flitwick,
Yes.
and Transfiguration taught by the legendary Minerva McGonagall.
And before the legendary Albus Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore. Do you like Albert Dumbledore?
Aberduberdure. Bork, bork, bork.
My favorite teacher is Aberduberdore.
All right. You want to read off the required texts for this class, Al?
Please. A Beginner's Guide to Transfiguration by Emmerich Switch. Intermediate Transfiguration, author unknown. And a Guide to Advanced Transfiguration, author unknown.
All right. So let's talk about, I guess we can just compare the two of these, cause, we're going to have one come out on top anyway. What do you think is more fun, is more exciting? Is changing the way something looks and acts, or changing what it's doing? For a difference, I guess, a transfiguration would be making yourself look like someone else, or turning a person into a cat, where, a charm would be, would Wingardium Leviosa be a charm?
Yes. And
Because you're
as would
making
Expelliarmus.
Okay.
Those are both examples of charms.
Great.
Personally, while I love the idea of changing shapes, and if memory serves, doesn't Professor McGonagall turn herself into a cat?
She
in
does.
the first day of class?
First day of class.
As a demonstration?
She's already a cat.
That's right. So she's like, let me show you what you're aiming for. It also seems like a much more theory and practical heavy classes. Like there's this element where you have to be able to demonstrate your mastery of theories and the magic together. And there are theories like Gamp's law of elemental transfiguration.
Oof.
Let me look at what that is.
Do you have a copy of A Beginner's Guide to Transfiguration by Emmerich Switch?
I do. I have one always ready.
Oh, wow.
So there are 5 principal exceptions to Gamp's law. Is your mother can't produce food out of thin air. No one can. It's impossible to make good food out of nothing. You can summon it if you know where it is. You can transform it. You can increase the quantity if you've already got some. But you can't make it out of nothing. Okay. So that is an example of one of Gamp's law. Like there are all these rules and laws you have to know. It just seems like it would be a much harder class, and I don't want to take a super hard class. I like being able to, and also
that's your thing, is you're like, oh, it's got the most legendary teachers teaching it. That must mean it's the hardest. Oh, look, it has books and theories. Yeah, it is the hardest. So
do you want Minerva McGonagall to be your teacher?
Yeah.
Why?
Because she's the most powerful wizard there, and she's tough,
though.
It's
a tough class.
Hell, what's wrong with a tough class? Oh, will you stop? Don't you Jim Dale me. Don't you Jim Dale me. No.
Take a hard class.
No, I heard it. You go to your room. Jim Dale.
No, I'm going to my room. Oh, I'm nearly headless Nick. Oh, my head. Oh, it's nearly off. Oh.
I will say this. I will say that, we've been thinking as a student, this whole time, and like, what would it be like going to Hogwarts and taking these classes? I think for me, as hard as Transfiguration class would be, I think you would get more bang for your buck and have to study less and get nearly the same effect from charms. That's just say the phrase, point the wand, and, well, I know there's a heck of
You
a
have to
lot
know the
more
motion.
to it.
You have to know the right words.
I know. You have to know the whole thing. But yeah, there's not as, you don't have as tough a teacher. You don't have, McGonagall giving you all these books. You've got Flitwick, showing you how to levitate a feather. Like that to me seems, I love that.
I think there are more inherent possibilities for me in charms, like the idea of cheering somebody up, but also summoning something and also disarming somebody.
Well, we've got other episodes where we're going to talk about the spells. That's why I'm being a little cagey right now.
Yes.
Because I've been doing a lot of research on these spells as well.
I see.
As has Kate. Because I would just say that ACCIO is the greatest thing of all time. And, that's charms class. Okay. Then ACCIO, whatever ACCIO is in.
Well, let me give you the required texts.
Okay.
The Standard Book of Spells by Miranda Goshawk.
You go shock.
Hey, go shock.
Hey, go shock. Hey, Miranda, go shock.
Hey, you tell her. Achievements in Charming, author unknown, and Quintessence, a quest, author also unknown.
Achievements in Charming. I'm pretty sure you wrote that, Hal.
Thanks, buddy. How dare you? I couldn't possibly. All right. This brings us to our final core course.
Yeah.
Defense against the dark arts. Before we jump into this, I want to point out that the dark arts were taught at Hogwarts for 1 year while the school was under Voldemort's control. The course was taught by Amicus Caro, who forced students to perform the Cruciatus Curse on students who were in detention. And it's probable, although not confirmed, that this is where Vincent Crabbe learned to conjure Fiendfire.
Now, what was Fiendfire?
Mark, please look it up. I don't want to have to explain to you what Fiendfire is. I mean, what is this? Elementary Harry Potter class? I don't think so. This is Defense Against the Dark Arts. Here are the instructors. Professor Queerness Quirrell, Professor Gilderoy Lockhart, Professor Remus Lupin, Barty Crouch Jr., disguised as Professor Alistair Moody, Professor Dolores Umbridge, and Professor Severus Snapes.
Basically, Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Wait, I said Snapes.
Snapes?
Have you like Snapes? Snapes. Why did it have to be Snapes?
Oh my God. I always go on to snapes.com if I'm not sure if a news story is correct. Defense Against the Dark Arts is the one class that everyone teaches it for 1 year. Because whether they are a protagonist or an antagonist, something happens. I'm looking at this now. I guess there's really only two, looking at Severus Snape, but, Lupin, there's really only one Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher who doesn't turn into either a villain or a heel.
This is true. This is absolutely true. This is a cursed and dangerous class. Can I go through the texts, please?
Sure, buddy.
We've got The Dark Forces, A Guide to Self-Protection by Quentin Trimble. Then Gilderoy Lockhart's collected works, which include Break with a Banshee, Gadding with Ghouls, Holidays with Hags, Travels with Trolls, Voyages with Vampires, Wanderings with Werewolves, Year with a Yeti. And then you've got The Essential Defense Against the Dark Arts by Arsenius Jegger, another text by him.
He wrote 2 textbooks. Or she.
He did.
I don't know if that's a man or woman.
Or she. Do you remember Arsenius Hall, who had the magical talk show?
Yes.
This is the section for witches who lost their brooms.
The problem is when he would do that arm motion and someone would have their wand in their hand, all kinds of spells are just whizzing around the room.
Yeah, the set caught fire in episode 2.
Incendio! Oh God!
Do you remember Incendio Hall? That show didn't even make it to air.
No. Shame about the fire.
Well, that's good, because if it had gotten there, it would have been worse. Defensive Magical Theory by Wilbert Slinkhard. Dark Arts Defense.
I'm sorry,
Basics
what's his
for
name?
Beginners. Wilbert Slinkhard.
Okay.
We got Dark Arts Defense, Basics for Beginners, Confronting the Faceless. Those are
Confronting
all
the
books.
Faceless is a pretty great name. It
Yes.
sounds like it could be an actual, in the self-help section at Barnes & Noble.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So, this is the class where students learn, how to identify and defend against dark creatures, attacking witches and wizards. And they also learn about the 3 unforgivable curses. Now, the 3 unforgivable curses, are crucio, which is, torture. Is something about your mind. It's some sort of mind control, one that you can't mind control, and the one that you can't kill anybody, Avada Kedavra.
Yes.
Do you think it's a good idea that they teach those 3 curses? Because that's a thing in, do you think Mad Eye Mooney was right? There's a scene where he says, they don't want you to teach this in the class, but I'm going to show you. And he teaches those 3. It's actually not him. Of course, it's
it's a villain.
It's a villain doing the teaching it at that point. Do you think they should be teaching those, in Defense Against the Dark Arts?
I don't think you should learn the actual spells. No, I think you should learn that they exist.
Right. But this is the argument, I guess, with a Defense Against the Dark Arts. Do you want to teach it as a practical theory, or do you actually want to put people in danger? Because Harry wants to, he has the Order of the Phoenix. They want to be in danger, and they want to know what it's like when they are in danger. And the Ministry of Magic wants just a textbook version of Defense Against the Dark Arts.
I would argue.
Do you fall with Umbridge? Is that it?
No, I would argue that how dare you? I stand with Umbridge. No, I take umbrage at that.
Ooh.
I think for
that worked out rather conveniently.
Yes. For the timeline of the Harry Potter films and books, that there is no more important class than Defense Against the Dark Arts, because the Dark Arts are rising and rising steadily and rising fast and rising powerfully during that time. So to have that, you should always have that knowledge and that ability to defend yourself, because it's almost like Hogwarts is partially a military academy.
Right.
In that way. They're not just teaching the general knowledge and practical application of magic, but they're teaching you that there are unsavory and evil characters out there.
Well, are they though? I mean, they
defend yourself.
They do teach that. They teach that, but again, it seems like it's only ramped up and militarized because of what's happening with Voldemort in the timeline of these books. Is Defense Against the Dark Arts that important a class outside of the return of Voldemort? I guess is my question.
If you have him and then you have Grindelwald before him, there's always a threat.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
Because magic is power, and
right.
People are there will always be people who are not happy with the power they have, and there are dark creatures that are out there. And you need to know and be aware of the world you live in and how to defend yourself and your family.
Well, I mean, it sounds like this one is if we don't pick this one, then we're being flippant.
I mean, this
you
one,
know what I mean?
in,
like, this is the hands down, like, favorite going in, I think, because all of the books, and the movies, they center around this particular class. Defense Against the Dark Arts is the most consequential, important class at the school.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know, but it feels like if we don't pick it, then it's like, oh, what do you want? Floating a feather? We gonna pick floating a feather over defending your family against Voldemort? Like, well, it kind of feels unfair.
You need to have a foundation in every other class to do well in this class.
Right.
And you need this class to do well in other classes. But also, this is the understanding of with great power comes great responsibility. Right. I think this class teaches that maybe above all others. Even though it's taught by, in most cases, a series of unfortunate people.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can't imagine a more important class to the Harry Potter universe.
That was what I was going to get to next. I was going to say that, we've been talking about it as students, but also we kind of have to look at it as Harry Potter fans as well.
Yes.
And as Harry Potter fans, I mean, if it's going to be one of these three, we've narrowed it down from all the others to one of these three. And these are really core classes. This is arguably the most dire of the core classes.
Right.
So as Hogwarts students, these would be the most important. But as Harry Potter fans, take us back to the Muggle world that we live in. As Harry Potter fans, there's no class that beats Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Yeah, I think it has to win.
Yeah.
I think it's clear.
All right.
So, all right, then. Ooh, people of the world.
Nope.
All right, fine. People of the world, the best subject at Hogwarts is maybe the most important and most crucial. It may not be your favorite. There are a lot of very cool and neat classes. And the lore of Harry Potter, if you've only seen the films, it's worth reading the books because they delve a level deeper. And now Pottermore, you have J.K. Rowling constantly putting out new content. Like there's so much cool stuff to delve into and to understand about the world. But the most important is also the best subject. And that is the defense against the dark arts. Because you never know when another person who must not be named will rear their ugly head, and you'll need to be able to throw down and take care of yourself.
No, don't worry about it. It's cool, man.
You.
It's cool. Voldemort got snapsitured by Thanos at the end of the last Harry Potter movie. I saw it. He turned into little ash flakes.
Oh, then it's Muggle history.
Oh,
Ask
great. Muggle history.
It's defense against the dark arts. Ask that answer.
Of course it is.
Come on.
It's defense against the dark arts. This topic is closed.
Yes, it is. And it was suggested by Kim Woo. I want to thank Kim
Woo.
for this. Thank you for this subject and for your patience. We finally got to it.
I know. And thank you, Kate McManus. I will thank you later in our official credits, but big thank you to Kate for all the research on this. I hope that we did you proud. I hope that you're not banging your head on a table continuously for the last 50 or so minutes. This topic is closed, but there are many more to discuss. So please reach out to us on Twitter at We Got This Tweets. Check out the Maximum Fun subreddit, or
you can email us at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com, or go where this suggestion came from, which is the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/We Got This Podcast. Thank you to producer Ken Plume, our researcher and Harry Potter scholar, official Harry Potter scholar, Kate McManus. Thank you, Kate. Graphic designer Uri Kelman and QA engineer Jen Alba.
Thank you to our musicians, Jonathan Dinerstein and Mike Furman, for our score and theme song, respectively. And thank you to you, our listeners. You are our cheering charm. So thank you for being that. For Hal Lublin, I'm Mark Gagliardi.
For Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin. And don't worry, everybody. We got this.
We got this.
Oh, best Hogwarts subject.
Best Hogwarts subject, Harry.
Best Hogwarts subject. Best Hogwarts subject.
Oh man, are you burning all of your Jim Dale voices?
That was my Alan Rickman.
That was
Harry Potter. Harry. Although they all have a little bit of Jim Dale because of that. Ooh. All right.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Listener supported.